The dim afternoon light filters through the windows. The room of the Bologna apartment is closed off, and a group of university professors sit around a table. This is not a meeting, nor an ordinary gathering. It is a séance. Among them is Romano Prodi, then a young economist who would later become Prime Minister of Italy and President of the European Commission. A fact that, with time, sounds almost unbelievable. In the midst of a national emergency, one of the country's future leaders takes part in a mysterious ritual in a desperate attempt to find the president of the Christian Democrats. At one point, someone asks, "Where is Aldo Moro?" From the sheet of paper and the pencil, following the method known as the spirit of the pen, a single word takes shape: Gradoli. It is April 2nd, 1978, 47 days before Moro's body will be found. Prodi, puzzled, nevertheless decides to report the episode to the authorities. But that word will unleash one of the most surreal and controversial investigative trails in the history of the Italian Republic. The information about the word Gradoli does not reach law enforcement directly. It moves instead like a cryptic message through the corridors of power. Romano Prodi passes it on to Umberto Cavina. Cavina, in turn, relays it to the leadership of the Christian democracy, and in particular to Luigi Zanda, who, when informing Interior Minister Francesco Cossiga, adds further details and interpretations. During those frantic hours, the message, repeated and reinterpreted, changes shape. Gradoli is no longer just a name, but becomes a location, a possible hiding place. Cossiga immediately authorizes the search, and the state machinery mobilizes. Teams of police officers and carabinieri reach the small village of Gradoli in the province of Viterbo. Houses, basements, and surrounding fields are searched, but nothing emerges. Aldo Moro remains untraceable. Only later will the séance be described as a singular but good faith episode and included in the official records of the Moro Commission. Yet it remains a symbol of those days. Confusion, false leads, the desperation of a nation seeking a man and ending up chasing a shadow. Even before the Gradoli trail, there had been the Lago della Duchessa lead. It is March 18th, 1978, just 2 days after the kidnapping of the Christian Democrat leader. An anonymous caller phones several newsrooms, claiming that Moro's body has been thrown into the icy waters of the mountain lake in the Rieti area. The army and divers immediately set out. Searches continue for hours, followed by media crews and television cameras, but nothing is found. Later investigations established that the call came from a phone booth in Rome, a simple act of misdirection, but in those days it fueled anxiety and confusion, draining precious time and resources. Meanwhile, in Rome, the hideout on Via Gradoli really does exist. It is apartment 11 at number 96, rented under the name of a young woman, but actually used as an operational base by the so-called Roman column of the Red Brigades. Police officers arrived at the building on March 18th, rang the intercom, but did not go inside. A month later, on April 18, a water leak alerted the neighbors. The firefighters intervened, forced the door open, and found weapons, pamphlets, and documents inside. It was not Moro's prison, but it was the headquarters from which much of the group's activity was coordinated. A missed opportunity, as the Moro Commission would describe it almost 40 years later. Behind the failed searches and fruitless negotiations, several lesser-known but crucial episodes emerge. In the days following the kidnapping, numerous anonymous tips were collected and analyzed. Among them was one from a far-right militant, verified in contemporary records, who accurately indicated that the Red Brigades commando might be using a Renault 4 as a storage vehicle. The tip was dismissed and set aside. Only on May 9th would it become clear how underestimated that detail had been. Today, more than 40 years later, Judicial and parliamentary records have clarified many aspects of the Moro case, yet gaps, inconsistencies, and recently declassified files still remain. It is the memory of a country that has not yet finished reckoning with itself. Because as Moro wrote in one of his final letters, not everything that is true is believable, and not everything that is believable is true.